Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface. Welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career. We're back with the 13th race of the season. We're heading to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Should be a good race. It does look like it's going to be raining in qualifying. We know if there's rain, things do get shaken up. Last time we had rain, we had Yuki Tsunoda on pole position, which was absolutely outstanding for him. If we just have a look in Japan, Tsunoda at his home race was on pole position in an AlphaTauri. I don't think he actually finished that high. Well, he finished 8th, which is quite high for AlphaTauri. Obviously, they were going to drop back down the order. But as it is, we are in a outstanding position heading into the final 4 races of the season. We've got 4 wins this season. Vettel's got 3. Gasly's got 1. He won last time out. We'll get into him in just a second. But we do have an incredible 76-point lead over Ferrari. Ferrari, the early season favourites. Obviously, their car was really strong at the start of the season. Leclerc, Hamilton in that car as well. They haven't been having the best of times. If we just have a quick look, Leclerc, they've gone off the boil recently as well, not scoring many points. They haven't had a podium since Belgium. 3 races without a podium for them. Their car is back to being the best overall. We'll get into that in a second as well. But as we can see, they've got the best drivers. They've got the best car. You never know, they might come back strong. But we would have to finish outside the points in 2 of these races pretty much for them to claw back that difference. So we're pretty much guaranteed it. We don't want to celebrate too early. It is all about trying to get Sebastian Vettel, the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, still in touching distance there. But we'll just quickly go into Pierre Gasly. We'll see his star rating has dropped. His fitness has dropped. And that is because he's published a racing-themed cookbook. And apparently he's gone through that cookbook, ate every recipe out of it over the last week, and dropped 5 in fitness. I mean, come on, Pierre. You didn't have to eat all the food, did you? I mean, why? Are you even going to fit in the race car this week, Pierre? But anyway, we'll jump into the car development screen and we'll go over the updates that have gone into all the cars for this week's Grand Prix. Mercedes, we'll start off with them because they've got no upgrades. McLaren, Aston Martin, no upgrades for them either. And then we'll jump quickly into Renault because they do have a big upgrade. They have gone and built their 3rd engine. I think it's their 3rd engine for the season. It is a massive upgrade, Renault. That Renault engine is now super powered. Puts them back up into 1st overall in terms of raw power. Obviously, Haas is a Renault customer team. They also have got that boost as well. Puts them right at the top there. I don't think Haas didn't develop any other points, any other parts to their car. Renault as well. So we'll just go down. We'll have a look at Ferrari and see what's moved them up to the top, and that is a new gearbox, which is right up there as well. Just puts them behind Renault. Red Bull have got a new brake system, puts them up into 4th. We've got Williams with a rear wing. Don't think anyone else has got a new rear wing, but Williams have got a good... They already had the best rear wing there, so they're going to be so far ahead with that rear wing that they've got on their car as well. We'll just quickly have another look. AlphaTauri have got a new suspension on their car. I mean, they're still only 10th overall. That wasn't a big upgrade there. Alfa Romeo actually did 2 upgrades. They got a new brake system, which puts them up to 6th, and a new front wing, which just put them up to 7th. So it's not the most massive of upgrades. And as you can see, we've jumped back to the top of the front wing development race because that was the part that we finished building last time out. We've got this new brakes part building, which shall be ready for the next race. We'll go over ourselves properly in a second. Other than that, I think that is it for upgrades this time around. So yeah, we'll just jump into this. We do have this new braking system. I'm going to go into the car. We're currently 7th best overall. I don't know whether it's going to get us close to McLaren. Hopefully it does. Hopefully there's a bump up to near the top. Then we've got a gearbox to build, but we've not really got any time to get into building a new gearbox this season, because once this test track is built, we can go ahead and get our last engine build for this season. I'm guessing that engine build is going to take us right towards the end of the season. I mean, there's only 49 days, 54 days or so before the actual season ends. It's going to take us a hell of a long time to build this new engine. And I don't think we're going to have much chance of building a new part after that unless we go for a front wing. But a front wing takes like 21 days as well. So I don't think we've got much room for manoeuvre other than building another new engine, because the engine drastically needs improving. Rio de Janeiro, the engine is the most crucial part. Luckily, we do have a decent front wing. Williams have got I mean, that Mercedes engine is not the best anymore, is it? So who would be favourites here? Mercedes are pretty strong with the 5th and then the 3rd best overall. Williams got a strong rear wing and a decent-ish engine. Red Bull pretty strong as well. Renault's rear wing totally lets them down. The gearbox is useful here. So Ferrari, I mean, that Ferrari engine suffered a lot recently. I mean, Ferrari might be pretty slow around here, but the gearbox Mercedes, but yeah, I would guess Mercedes are going to be favourites here, and we might struggle because of the state of our engine at the moment. But anyway, we'll get into this race weekend. We'll go with the usual tyre allocation that we go for, which is 8-4-3. Gives us enough to go through the 3 stages of qualifying. Actually, just before we get into that, we do have a change. I don't think I've actually gone over this yet. Just go over the rule changes for next season, which are being forced upon us. We've got Yokohama is track A is being replaced with track B. We've also got the Brutus tyres, which are the quicker, but they don't last as long. So hopefully that's not going to mess up all the changes that we've made to help the AI out. Hopefully that's not going to change them too much going into next season. I mean, the races, it should work out, but we might have to tweak things once again. And we're also going to have 2 dry weather tyre compounds next season. So instead of having 3 sets of tyres, or 3 different compounds of tyres over 15 tyres, we're going to have 2. So I mean, I don't know which way it's going to go with. I think, like with this weekend, we'd have the super softs and the softs, so we're going to lose the softest tyre compound. I don't think it goes ultra super soft. I think it gives you the harder tyres on the 2 compounds, but I can't actually remember which it does actually put upon you. I think that would still be a free choice of tyre compound, but hopefully with that might help the AI out even more, because they're not going to have the tyre that's going to drop away pretty quickly to just burn through early on in the race. They're going to have a decent hardish tyre that's going to last a little bit longer, so hopefully that will help them out next season. And then we have this rolling start vote coming up, and I've got 3 votes spare. I'm going to use all of those, and hopefully we can avoid having the rolling start going into next season. But anyway, both drivers are happy with the car. I mean, Vettel's a little bit happier with the car. Is that just because we need to... I mean, they've all got the same. We've got the front wing the same. We've got the engine the same. We've got the brakes the same. We've got the gearbox the same. Yeah, everything's the same. It's just... Vettel's a little bit happier with the car anyway. But we're going to jump into practice, which is going to be rainy. We've got a rainy qualifying session come up, and we'll be back in a second to see how that goes. So, practice is over. We've got a pretty jumbled up top of the order, but we had rain in practice, so we're not going to get any real idea of how quick anyone is. We've got rain here at the beginning of qualifying. It looks like that rain is going to get heavier as this goes on. We're going to take the ultra soft boost because we might get a chance to use the ultras at some point, but as usual, as I've explained before, we're not going to look at the weather radar for what the weather is going to do. We're just going to run qualifying as we normally would, just as the AI would do, so we don't have any sort of advantage. Like in the middle of the session, we could time to come out in the middle of the session and have it a totally dry lap in some of these qualifying sessions. We're not going to actually... It's not really cheating, but it is taking in advantage of the AI's lack of awareness of what's going on with the weather. But anyway, we're pretty much there with this setup. I'm not going to change anything from there. And we're going to get out. We're going to get out on a pair of inters because it is raining out on track. I don't know whether the AI would be out on a pair of inters this early in a session. It's dry enough for them to... Maybe. No, we do have a few coming out on intermediate tyres. Is this rain? It looks like the rain is levelling off and the rain is actually stopping here. So we're actually on a... Not on the right tyres. Only Russell and Sainz are on the right tyres. So they're going to be quickest over the first lap here. They're just absolutely flying. And we're... nearly 5 seconds off the pace on the first lap, so that is absolutely excellent. So hopefully there's not going to be rain later on in this session. So we've under just 4 minutes to go. That's when we usually send Gasly out. Vettel goes with about 3 minutes to go, and that is what we're going to aim for with our next lap. It's currently, we were quickest out of all of the other ones. We've got a few cars out on track. It doesn't look like the rain is coming here towards the end of this session, so we do need to get our run on the dry tyres underway here. We'll let Gasly clear off a little bit before we get Vettel out and on track here. It does look like the rain's totally staying away here, so everyone should be where they are, but we've got Russell not going again, although he was on the ultra, so he was quick enough. Sainz is not actually that quick though. Sainz might be in trouble here. Carlos Sainz might be going out in this session in the McLaren. I mean, we're going to improve. Verstappen's got room to improve. Norris's teammates improve. Both Red Bulls are in the bottom at the moment. Vettel currently second. Gasly jumps up into 9th place. I mean, both Ferrari... No, I was going with red. Leclerc is out. Hamilton does sneak through into Q3. So Leclerc did get out again on an Ultra, but not quick enough. No, Leclerc is out on track at the moment, is he? No, he's showing him going quicker, but I don't know what happened to Leclerc there. But Verstappen is quickest overall in the first qualifying session. Vips is looking pretty quick in the Red Bull as well. So that Mercedes is looking quick like we thought. We've got Carlos Sainz out. We've got Leclerc starting from almost the back row of the grid in the Ferrari Sonoda after his amazing pole position last time out in Japan. Is out in Q1 this time around. And it looks like we've got a even heavier rain session to start off this section of the qualifying session. I'm guessing it's still going to rain. So we're going to go out straight away as we usually do. And we'll get Vettel out as well on a pair of Inters. Looks like this rain is getting heavier. So we are going to get a decent lap in on the intermediates. Is this rain going to last the whole session? Is it going to ease off? I mean, it's getting heavier and heavier as this session is going on. So it might die off, and those, yeah, it's starting to die off again. So most of the cars that came out before us will be quicker on the intermediates because they will be doing their laps on a drier track. So this is not going to be a good indication of what is going to happen in this session. We might have rain later on in this session. We're just going blind. But as it is, Alonso is currently on pole. We've got the two Renaults up there. Well, that is 4 Renault-powered cars all the way up there. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are Renault-powered cars. And going out of this session at the moment is us and Russell, Hulkenberg and Ocon. I mean, hopefully there's oh, we've got rain. We have rain. What are we going to do here? Is that rain heavy enough? And that rain is super heavy. Oh, no, 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 no. How are we going to escape? No, the rain is even heavier than it was. Is it going to stop? Or are we going to be out here in Q2? Because of the rain. Yeah, it is easing off. It is easing off. Is it going to ease off enough that we're going to get one of our cars through into Q3? Vettel is a lot quicker. Gasly is quicker as well. We might just scrape through here. No, Gasly is not quicker, but can Vettel scrape himself into the top 10? He can. Vettel does get through. Which is good, unfortunately. Oh, no, we don't. No. No. Russell goes quickest and pushes us out. Verstappen just sneaks through. We've got the other McLaren of Norris going out as well. I think McLaren still have the 2nd best car overall, but they are out with us. Look at that, just so close to Verstappen. Hamilton almost out. But the Renault-powered cars seemingly lucky with their strategies for a change, especially here in qualifying. Hopefully they're going to be much improved for the race. We would like to see Renault up there. Obviously that Renault car is nowhere near where it was at the start of the season or where it was for the majority of last season. But anyway, we'll get in, we'll watch qualifying. And it is up here because we could have Vips and Alonso on pole. We've got the Mercedes, but it is raining. We can actually look at the radar this time. So there's going to be rain and then it's going to be rain to finish the session. So those Renault cars, which will come out a little bit earlier onto the track, like in the middle of the session, it could be a pole position for one of those cars. We never know. George Russell is currently quickest, but Verstappen goes quicker than him. They were the only cars to run on the Ultras, and they're 10 seconds behind on the first run. Daniel Ricciardo currently gets there. Magnussen jumps in, but then Alonso then sets the quickest time. And then it looked like Newgarden was going to get there, but he's just pretty much 1/1000th of a second slower than Fernando Alonso. So pretty close, and we've still got all the Renault-powered cars right at the top of the order. And we've just got to wait a little while, although Perez is the first car back on track. He is on the Ultras, and yeah, the Renaults are going to get out and done before this rain actually comes. So we might see all 4 Renault-powered cars on the front 2 rows of the grid here. Maybe. I mean, that rain is not too heavy, so the cars on the Ultras might not be as slow, so they might be able to make up for the rain with the power of their cars. But Newgarden is pretty quick here as well. Newgarden goes 4th. Magnussen is up there. So we've got all 4 Renault powered cars at the top of the order. Schwartzman is going to come around, and Schwartzman goes into 5th place. But who out of these cars is going to go quicker? Alonso is 3/10 down here. So it is going to be the 4 Renault powered cars on the front 2 rows of the grid. And yet this rain is too heavy now. They're losing too much time. Verstappen is going to go quicker, but yeah, he's still 3 seconds down. Will Verstappen get any better than 10th? No, that rain at its heaviest. So, yes, we've got all 4 Renault cars at the front of the grid. This is going to make for an interesting race because we've got a lot of cars out of place. We've got the Red Bulls starting at the back end of the top 10 on the grid. We've got a Ferrari in there of Hamilton. Leclerc's a lot further back. So it's not too bad for us because the cars we're sort of battling with Vettel are pretty close to us, so if we have a good start, we know those Renaults and Haas's, they're not the quickest at the moment. We do have a power advantage, obviously that is going to come in handy here around Brazil. We can actually look at the radar for the race. It's not going to rain. It is only a 26 lap race, so it is going to be easily done from super softs to ultras, but I'm going to go with the ultras because we do need to make our way up the grid from the start of the race. We might as well push all out. Is it going to, what's the weather like here? I mean, it's pretty hot, so the tyre temperatures are going to be running pretty warm as well, which might work out for us because we know the AI does like to be ultra aggressive as well and like to burn through their tyres. But anyway, let's go through the grid. We've got the 2 Renaults on the front row of the grid, something we should have seen happening a lot more in this game, but obviously they do have a free choice of tyre compound as well. We've got Ricardo Perez, followed by the 2 Renault powered Haas's. We've got Magnussen and Newgarden, followed by Schwartzman in Prema 5th place. Fernando Alonso 6th, his teammate just behind him in 7th is Jerry Vips. Lewis Hamilton is 8th. George Russell and Max Verstappen in the 2 Mercedes bring about the 5th row of the grid. Then we've got our driver Sebastian Vettel in 11th, followed by Lando Norris and Nico Hülkenberg in a Williams. Gasly is 14th for us. Esteban Ocon in Aston Martin and Giovinazzi in a Prema round out the 8th row of the grid. On the 9th row, we've got Alexander Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, both in the Alpha Tauri, and then we've got an Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas, Latifi in a Williams, Carlos Sainz in 21st in that McLaren, Leclerc is 22nd, and then bringing up the back row of the grid, we've got an Aston Martin and an Alfa Romeo of Lance Stroll and Mick Schumacher, respectively there. So hopefully, actually, let's get a camera angle where we can actually see the cars here. So hopefully we're going to get off the line pretty quickly, although Vettel does have a decent start. Gasly had a good jump off the line but got held up. Hopefully he's going to carry that momentum through. And who is that? That's one of the Mercedes running well wide. That is Max Verstappen, who falls all the way to the back of the grid. Vettel has got himself up into the top 10. Gasly, his teammate, is carrying on that really good start as well. Is he going to get past him? No, Vettel closes the door there. And it is Hamilton in front, who has dropped a few places behind the 2 Red Bulls here. But it looks like Vettel might have the run on Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, that Ferrari is the best car in game at the moment. Not particularly suited to this track, though. And Gasly is coming under pressure from George Russell. As that is, we're going... Look at that, we're going... Oh, that is so close. And where did we actually end up? Actually, Vettel has lost out there, and Gasly has got ahead of all of them. And Gasly continues his good start here. He gets past Lewis Hamilton. Looks like he might have the run on George Russell here as well. I mean, our tyres are going to get overheated here. And Gasly loses out on the outside, going 3 abreast. Gasly's got the middle line here. Is he going to take it? I mean, everyone's just grouped together here. That is a Renault in front. I mean, we're just going through these tyres, but we're just going to keep pushing because we want to make our way through the order here. I'm not too bothered about going too hot. Gasly has now got himself up into 4th place, an absolutely amazing first couple of laps. And we're just going to look after these tyres. No, we're not. No, we're not. Russell is coming back at us. We're going to keep pushing here. Russell is coming back at us. We've got the 2 Haas's in front now, Magnussen and Newgarden. This is where we wanted to be. Vettel currently up into 6th place as well. I mean, our car just on race day, it just seems to be performing so well at the moment. I mean, we're not having the qualifying sessions that we want, but I mean, if we can clear this Haas, oh, I mean, that was an amazing corner from George Russell, but we do need to start thinking about cooling down on these tyres now because we want to last to the end of the race. We might even have to give up this position to George Russell. He's possibly got the run on us. We'll try keep it though, and then we'll go conserve mode. Attack again, George. Don't lose out to the Haas. Get that Haas in between us, and then we'll go, and then we'll let Vettel create that gap and get through. Vettel on the inside of his teammate there. So we're up into 3rd and 4th. Daniel Ricciardo has got away at the head of this Grand Prix. He is in 1st place, 2.5 seconds back to Newgarden. Then there's about a 4-second gap from that Haas towards Vettel. Is now in the position of trying to hold these cars up. I'm not too bothered about the Haas, but then George Russell, another sneaky, some sort of power boost through the corner. I don't know what that is, but we do need to look after this tyre though, because we do need this Ultra to go about 10, 11 laps, because we did overheat it to get to these positions. It's a matter of conserving from this point forward if we can just go ahead and conserve here. I mean, we're under pressure from Sergio Perez with Sebastian Vettel. Maybe we'll get back into neutral with him, maybe push a little bit to stay ahead. I mean, these tyres are just going to be wrecked by the point whether we can get them to the point that we need to now, or whether we have to think about maybe we do have the luxury of the soft tyre, but I would prefer to get onto the super soft if we can help it. But if we have to push, we have to push to keep these positions, because we're falling behind. Daniel Ricciardo's just flying off into the distance here. Hopefully Renault are going to run a decent strategy. It would be good to see them finally get a race win. I mean, have they had one this season? I don't think they have. They definitely didn't get one last season. No, they haven't, have they? It's just been over the 2 seasons so far. I think it's just 4 podiums that Daniel Ricciardo's been able to get in that Renault. And Robert Schwartzman's crash. We've got a virtual safety car out on track. I mean, we're close to the pits here. I mean, that is right on the limit. It's so far on the limit. Oh, well, I mean, we'd have to pit again. We're going to be out so far down the order to do this. I mean, we've got a little bit of risk on the pit stop. I mean, how far? It's going to be quick through the pit lane. We're going to do it. We're in. We're in. We'll do something risky. We're ahead in the championship. We can take risks. If we can get back out here in the middle of the order. I mean, we've gone through a lot more of the tyre than we had have hoped with Vettel. We're going to have to really look after that tyre now. But we are sort of... we have had an advantage with the pit stop. He's on the soft. I mean, we're back racing now. And we just have to sit tight with Vettel now. He just has to look after that tyre to the end of the Grand Prix. Gasly, meanwhile, he's still on the cool down, which those tyres are nicely cooled down. We have to recover fuel, but not from this point yet. We don't have to recover the fuel, so we might as well get pushing again with Pierre Gasly for a little bit. He's away. Lance Stroll has crashed. And we've got a safety car. Have we got this right? Have we gone past with Gasly? Oh, we've just gone past the pits with Gasly. Most of these cars are coming, which this is good for Vettel because it hasn't messed him up too much. We're not actually going to catch this safety car till the next lap, are we? So we might as well get in for that soft tyre. Make sure we can get to the end of the race. I mean, most cars have pitted, but we're definitely not going to catch a safety car. So we do have a free pit stop here. We're going to have to take it because most of the other cars might take it. I mean, is Ricciardo going to come in to the pits? And Ricciardo's stayed out here. I mean, we are going on to the much slower tyres, 18 laps remaining. Gasly's going to get into the pits. Hopefully we can get out in front of George Russell here. Going to be behind Newgarden, so we're out into a decent place on track. We're going to get these tyres nice and cooled down. The field is going to close back in on Daniel Ricciardo now, so Renault not taking the opportunity to get in under the safety car. Does put us in a really good position. But I mean, we're on slower tyres. I'm guessing Renault might go for ultra. They're going to be a lot quicker once they get into the pits and back out again. But hopefully we can make this work now because these tyres are cool all the way. So we don't have to worry too much about that. We've had some of the fuel recovery done for us. We get into the point where we're coming around to get off these. So we'll get a little bit of heating before we restart racing. There's not going to be much heat. Our tyres are pretty cool. But that is okay, and it is about just maintaining position now with these cars all around us. We've done our one and only pit stop for the race with Gasly. Hopefully we can get that far with Sebastian Vettel. He's about a lap down on his teammate over that lap that he did, but Vettel is moving through the field here. Gasly is dropping back on these soft tyres, and we're just dropping back here. This is not what we wanted. Not what we wanted at all. We don't want Newgarden and Ricciardo to get away from it. I mean, Newgarden is in a really good position in that Haas. Whether he can get that super soft to the end, though, is another question. I don't know why they didn't go soft, but Ricciardo's in this. Like, why didn't you come in under the safety car, Danny? This win was all tied up if you'd have got in and out. We're just going to stick with him, see what he comes out onto. He is out onto a pair of softs, and he will come out in 20 seconds. So far down. I'm guessing Renault have just thrown away the win here. But we're still in a really good position, but we still need to find some way to get close to Newgarden. Newgarden is just running away with this at the moment. I mean, he's got George Russell right behind him, but Haas with that Renault power, just super quick. And we're at the point now we're going to have to... These tyres are getting a little bit too hot. We're just going to turn down, and it's just about waiting our turn now, because there are 4 cars in front of us that do still need to pit. So we are on for a podium here. If we can just go on and hold on, all these cars on the Ultras, they can go for another Ultra. They're not held to the same standard that we are, in that we have to use 2 different tyre compounds throughout the weekend. We might see some of them come out onto another Ultra Soft. And we'll just see what Hamilton does. Hamilton goes onto another Ultra Soft. But he is 8 seconds down on Daniel Ricciardo. We are currently 5th and 6th overall. Coming up to about 10 laps to go here as well. And 5th place is Lando Norris, has absolutely shredded his tyre. Norris going slowly over this last half a lap. Norris, McLaren making a mistake here, going too long on the Ultras. I'm guessing they've tried to stretch to go for another Ultra. And they have, so they should at least be quick here. But Norris does come out behind the Renault of Sergio Perez. And the 2 Renaults just totally out of it now after not taking advantage of the safety car or the virtual safety car. I mean, we took it. Hulkenberg is still in front of us in a Williams. Russell doesn't look like he's lapping as quick. He's going a little bit quicker now. The Haas has totally slowed down. No, he hasn't. Yeah, he's 3/10 up. I thought Russell was about a second slower as Newgarden sets the fastest lap of the race. But these super softs, they don't look like they're going to get through to the end of the race. But hopefully our softs can do. Sergio Perez sets the quickest lap of the race so far. Our tyres are still overheating here, so we're going to have to go conserve a little bit, because we do need to make sure we can get to the end of the race here. Charles Leclerc is behind us. He's gone on a super soft. He's done 17 laps on that super soft, which does bode well for Newgarden and co. It's just whether they're pushing too much to try to keep these positions, if you can. I mean, with the temperature the way it is, I didn't think the AI would be able to get the full 17 laps out of them. We've seen, what have we seen out of the other? Well, I mean, yeah, we've had the virtual safety car and we've had the normal safety car, haven't we? That is why they've made those super soft last so long, because there's the safety car 3 laps, about 60 seconds under the virtual. We've had like 3.5 laps. Just going slow around this track. But anyway, Vettel is now up into the podium positions, which is so far down at the moment that I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to Russell and Newgarden. It doesn't look like Russell's going to get close to Newgarden as well. The Renault power here is just almighty around this track, as we've seen with a lot of the cars. Ricciardo is now back up into 6th place, which is pretty decent. Perez is back up into the top 10. But this could have been a really impressive race for Renault, for their project overall. If they could have just held on, would have been really good for them. I mean, Haas are here. We've got plans for Haas. Could be moving away from Renault going into next season. That's second. That is Russell in for the Ultras. So he's going to get out of the pits into 3rd. So that is not too bad for him, because he's on that Ultra Soft, which is a really strong tyre. And Vettel has closed in on Newgarden, who's coming for his second pit stop and got out in front. So we've got no chance of catching up to him. And we're just trying to stretch to the end of the race on these softs, because we don't want to get into the pits again. Although, where would we come out if we did actually pit? We would come out into 8th place potentially. That is too far back to try and make up these positions, so we do just have to stick with these soft tyres now until the end and cool them down as much as we can. We're possibly going to have to give, well, we do have to give up to George Russell. We're not really fighting him. We know he's got that fresh pair of Ultras on. There's no point trying to push and potentially shred our tyres before the end of the race. A 3rd and 4th is good enough here. And it's going to be good enough. Nearly 100 points ahead of Ferrari, which would pretty much confirm the title. It's not mathematically done yet, but we're as close as we can be. Newgarden now sets the quickest lap of this Grand Prix. And yes, 3rd and 4th. So where are the 2 Renaults? Now we've got 5th and 8th for Sergio Perez. Alonso is currently in 6th place in the Red Bull. Hamilton 7th in the Ferrari. Norris is 9th, and Hulkenberg could be picking up points here. He's got Max Verstappen on him, but Hulkenberg is on fresher rubber here. Leclerc still at the points. Vips not having the best. He did have a really good start in the Red Bull, but has not had the best couple of races since then. And yeah, Alonso's still up there in the points. If we've got anyone sort of running out of order, we don't, other than Leclerc and Sainz. George Russell now sets the quickest lap of the race. He is on ultras, but he's not that much quicker than Joseph Newgarden, whose position at Haas might have been under threat, but with this win, because he's been in this Haas for 2 years now, he's not really improved or had that many good results. But with a win here, Newgarden's first win in this Haas, I mean, I think we're heading to Phoenix next week. It would have been better if the American in the American car could have won in Phoenix, but I mean, they're not going to worry that it is in Brazil. I mean, these tyres are just about going to get through to the end of the race. We're going to get there with Gasly, but we're just about going to get there with Vettel. He's on his final lap, and we're going to have to go low mode here as well, aren't we? Of the final lap, we used a little bit too much fuel, but it should be all right. From this point forward, we might actually run out with Gasly. Oh dear, we've run it close like we usually do. No, we're going to recover. That fuel is going to take us across the line into 4th place. We run out just coming across the line again. I mean, it's becoming a common occurrence. It's running out of fuel right at the end of the race, right on the line, isn't it? We're running a little bit too late as we try keep a track on what's going on with the other cars, and then forget to look to the bottom right at that screen. At that part of the screen. But anyway, that is it. 3rd and 4th is a great result for us. The Renaults managed to get back up into 5th and 6th after not coming in under the safety cars. I mean, Renault threw away another win, essentially, not pitting under the safety car. I mean, that could have been Renault's first win that we've seen in this series. But anyway, Joseph Newgarden in the Haas, a win. It will be good for them. There is some plans underway that could see Haas improve next season. We're not going to get into that until we get into the season preview for next season. We will tease it a little bit, but there we go. That is a nice big gap from Vettel to Alonso. 34 points. That is more than a race. Vettel would have to finish outside the points in a race for Alonso to get anywhere close to him. But we won't get too excited just yet. There is always potential for a race like Belgium to occur, but we're not going to get into that. We're just going to get the money out of the bank account. And 2.2 million coming out. Newgarden is the winner. We won't look at the results of the other Grand Prix, but anyway, we'll get into the interview with Jenson Button. We'll just say Seb. It's not going to upset him. It's not going to upset Gasly. But anyway, so yeah, that is it for this Grand Prix. We've got the new brakes going into the car. We're going to have the HQ, the test track built for the next race, which is Phoenix. There's not a lot of time between this race and the next one, so we might not see a lot of upgrades going into the United States Grand Prix other than our brakes part. Maybe we're going to see some AI upgrades, but until that point, we'll see then. But I'll see you down the road in Phoenix for the American Grand Prix. But until that point, goodbye everybody. Goodbye.